So, hello everybody.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome back to our channel. Here we are doing another Saleh Family Cooks video.
For the month of Ramadan.
Yeah, and you guys seem to really like these videos. If you haven't checked out our previous recipes, I will link the playlist in the description below. But today we're going to be doing our special vegetable pakoras. Yeah.
Famous Pakistani dish.
Yes, and I feel like this recipe is a little bit, we put a little bit of a spin on it and kind of added our own ingredients to it just to make it ours, and feel free to substitute whatever you like, so you don't have to use everything that we use. Pakoras are a really great way to get veggies in kids, at least
and adults who don't like them.
This guy, yeah. So feel free to add, subtract, get creative with this recipe, and it's just delicious. Everybody loves it for iftar.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time breaking fasts with Muslims around from all over the world, and you know the #1 dish that gets brought to the masjid, to the mosque, is pakoras.
Pakoras,
and they just get destroyed.
Yeah, it's basically a deep fried batter with veggies and spices, and it's so good. Like just trust me, if you've never tried it before, give it one chance, and then it's just going to become part of your routine.
And I've tried so many different ones. I've tried Bengali ones, Indian ones, Pakistan. I guess everybody has their own take on it. Yeah. Every locality probably has their own. It's like biryani, it's the same thing. Every city has their own kind of dish. But
this is ours. This is mine.
This is hers. And honestly, without saying to just say it, but they are the best.
They are the best. Yeah. Thank you.
When they're thin and crispy, and that's it.
I'm hungry.
All right, let's get to it.
Let's dig in. So as we mentioned before, you can put different vegetables in it. We have just pre-chopped everything and gotten it all ready to go. So we love to use spinach,
onions,
and eggplant,
which
is
I
one
was
of my favorites.
Never a fan of before, but in here you
you can't even taste it.
No, well I don't know what it's supposed to taste like, so
it tastes
either like egg
great.
or like a plant.
I love eggplant. Like eggplant is one of my favorites. My mom always makes it into like a salad recipe, but I love adding it into this, and our kids have never known about it ever.
Well, it gives it they're crispy, but it's kind of like puffy. I don't know how to explain.
It gives
it's like
it
a marshmallow.
Really it gives it a really good texture, and if you're afraid to try it, just trust me on this.
On this recipe? Yeah, for sure. And then finally,
potatoes.
Potato.
Yeah, and then the ingredients that hold it all together is chickpea flour. So you do need to have chickpea flour at home, also known as besan.
Besan chickpeas.
Besan. And then of course the spices, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
So we've got salt. We've got cumin seeds. We've got turmeric. We've got red chili powder. And we've got coriander powder. So we're gonna take our potatoes, put them all in. And then we're gonna add our eggplant, basically all the ingredients. And then let me just mix these up a little bit. Oh my god, it smells so good. I love the onion. Okay, so this is the part where you're gonna just kind of eyeball it. So I did about 1.5 cups of potato, 1.5 cups of spinach, about 1 cup of eggplant, and 1 small onion. And now this is where we're gonna eyeball. So I'm gonna put in about 1/4 of a cup of the chickpea flour at a time. I'm gonna start with probably 1/2 cup first. And I'm gonna mix it through until everything's kind of nicely coated. And I can still see that there's a lot of pieces that aren't coated, so I'm gonna add another 1/4 cup. And you would make this according to like how much you wanna make. I'm making it for all of us, so the quantity is a little bit bigger. And now we're gonna add our spices. So this, again, you can do it according to what you like. This is 1/2 teaspoon. I'm gonna go in with 1/2 teaspoon of salt first. I'm gonna go in with about 1/4 teaspoon of the red chili powder, and then about the same for turmeric, and then 1/2 teaspoon of the coriander powder, and then 1/2 teaspoon of the cumin seed. And we're gonna mix that up, see what it looks like. And then one thing I like to add to this is chaat masala, which is optional. You can find it at any like Indian, Pakistani grocery store. So I'm gonna grab that and add that as well. So chaat masala just looks like this. It's usually a combination of different spices. So I'm gonna take about 1/2 teaspoon and I'm gonna put that in. It just adds maybe a little bit more. Just adds a little bit of, not sourness, but a little bit of tang to it. And now you can see that if you like zoom in really close, you can see like the spices sticking to the veggies. That's what you want. Just keep mixing it up. Make sure all the spices are evenly distributed. It smells so good. And then we're gonna add water to combine it all. Okay, so I'm gonna do about 1/2 cup of water first. And what you wanna do is you wanna get kind of like a batter out of it, because that's what's gonna make it stick together when you fry it. So I'm gonna keep adding more. I have 1 cup of water in total. Okay, so now you can see that it's starting to combine and you have that like really nice batter.
Like chunky pancakes.
Yeah, look at that. It looks so good. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, looks really good. And if you feel like there's not enough batter, like if you want it to be more battery, you can add some more. I'm just gonna add a little bit more, just so I can show you the difference. So now I can see that there's more batter in this, and it just makes more quantity when you add more batter. You'll be able to make more pakoras. Perfect, so that's what you want it to look like. Okay, now we're gonna move over to the stove. Okay, and then oil. Okay, so we have our batter, and
batter.
It looks really good and it smells really good too.
It does smell really good.
So we just put a kind of like deep, is that like a deep fry pan?
Shallow fry.
Shallow
It's more
fry.
like a wok that we deep fry in.
That's right. So we have the wok on the stove. We have it a gas stove, and I just pumped it up to like about 7 or 8 just to kind of heat it up. But then I'm going to turn the heat down to about 6. And we like to use vegetable oil.
And as you guys can tell from this whole thing, as it is right now, it's just nothing but nutritious goodness.
Yeah, it's so good.
So yeah, you lose a bit of that when you fry it, but
That's
at the end of the day, you're gonna thank us, so.
It's so good. Okay, so once the oil is hot, which you can actually check by taking just a little bit on the spoon and dumping it in, and once you start seeing that it's sizzling, you're good to go. So I'm gonna take about 1 tablespoon and start laying the pakoras inside.
So my question is, how do you make yours thin? Because that to me is a key in like making them like just the right
It's
amount
the
of
cutting of the
crispiness.
vegetables. You know how they're all thinly sliced? Some people cut them chunky, but I like to cut them thin.
I like to do as I'm told. As you can tell, this is not my dish. I'm just a helper.
Yes, you're the helper. You're a great helper. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have about 6 in there. I might fit 1 more. And we're gonna let these fry. I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit to about 7, kind of. And let them fry until the bottom side is like a golden brown color. Okay, so here's a way to check to see if they're ready to be flipped. If you're looking at the pakoras, just grab 2 forks and kind of flip it up. If you don't see that it hasn't turned into a brown color yet, leave it. So it's not ready to be flipped yet. That means that they're still raw. So see how the underside is not golden brown yet? It's starting to get golden brown, but it's gonna take some time. Just kind of move them around a little bit. Okay, so you can see now how they're golden brown on the bottom side. So I'm gonna flip them all over using 2 forks. Make sure that you do this very carefully. Don't splash yourself with oil. If you're a kid, don't do this yourself. You can see how nice and golden they are on that side.
Stay gold, Tony boy. Stay gold.
And now what you're gonna do is you're just gonna let them get golden on the other side. And then you're going to take a plate. You're gonna take a plate and just put a little paper towel on top, and you need one of these gadgets. Just go to the dollar store and get it. It's really easy to just scoop it all out and let the excess oil drain. And then, yeah. Okay, so both sides have now been done. You can see here, if I flip it around, both sides are good to go. So I'm gonna take my slotted device. What are these even called?
Strainer?
Spoons?
Spoon.
Slotted spoon?
Deep fried spoon.
And you want to make sure you have the paper towel on there so it gets rid of all the excess oil.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, so we're just gonna do the exact same thing for the rest of the batter. Make sure you get out any little pieces that are in there. And at this point, you can probably turn the oil down a little bit more. And just repeat the process. Okay guys, moment of truth. Oh, look at that. Yummy goodness. It is so crispy. So good. Okay, so you can serve this with ketchup, which is my personal favorite. You can serve it with chutney, with barbecue sauce, like whatever your preference is, but ketchup is always my favorite. So we're gonna dig right in. So crispy.
Verdict?
Incredible. All right, well.
The fancy teacup of ketchup is optional, but highly recommended. Here goes. Bismillah. It's so good.
Isn't it so crispy?
It's so crispy, but the amount of onion that's in there, but it's not powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And then the eggplant, I don't even know what eggplant tastes like, but whatever it is, it's so good. Okay girls, taste your pakoras and what do you think?
Yummy.
Yummy? Look at that face. That's a pretty happy face, eh? How is it? Delicious, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, but you only get one. Just kidding.
All right, guys.
That's
Hope
it.
you enjoyed.
That's all.
And I hope you guys cook it. If you do, let us know in the comments how you thought this recipe was.
Absolutely. And if you guys like this video, give us a thumbs up, comment. If you don't subscribe, I don't know why you haven't. You probably should. So.
And by liking this video, it tells us that you're enjoying these types of videos, like these cooking videos. And if there's another recipe that you want to have us cook, let us know what that is as well, and we can always do that too.
Maybe. Alright guys, take care. Bye for now. Assalamu alaikum.